Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mass Talks, and today I'm going to be doing a 2025 NFL mock draft. Uh, I only reorganized the order of three teams on here with their draft order. I think just going off of how the playoffs have been going and how I think the playoffs will end, that's how I have my order set. But we are going to get right into this. All right, so first you have the Tennessee Titans. They need a quarterback really badly. They need a corner, tackle. They probably need some receiving help. I mean, at one, they got a few teams offering them uh, trades. And honestly, there's a lot of these teams I don't think would really be trading here. Uh, because I just don't think the Titans are going to give up anything for this pick. So, with that being said, I think the Titans draft a player here. And as much as I like Cam Ward, I think he's the better quarterback. And I think he's probably the best quarterback in this draft. I don't see a world where the Titans don't pick up Shedeur Sanders. He's an amazing player. I mean, you look at his stats overall. I mean, played 13 games. I mean, he had over 4,000 passing yards, and he went 37-10. I mean, with Shedeur, you got to think of it like this: Colorado isn't a very good team, and Shedeur and Travis Hunter made it so this team actually won games. And Shedeur did it with a pretty good season, considering his 73% completion percentage and 13 games, throwing 37 touchdowns. I mean, you got to give him credit where credit's due. So I think that the Titans go Shedeur Sanders here. So then you look at the Browns. So you look at them, they need a quarterback. They're probably going to need a running back because I don't think Nick Chubb is going to still play well after all the injuries he's been through. Honestly, I'm pretty sure he goes to free agency this year. He probably isn't going to stay, as much as I hate to say that. Love Nick Chubb. I think he was one of the best running backs before all of his injuries. But with that being said, I think the Browns just need to go quarterback. I mean, Watson's out for next season. He's been horrible for him. He's he's literally have had the worst contract we've ever seen for a player to have. And I think Dylan Gabriel, he's an okay quarterback, but there's no way he gets picked in the first round, in my opinion. And that's why I think the Browns just go Cam Ward here. And then you have the Giants. I think the Giants could go a few different ways with this. I've seen from a few places them going receiver here, and then in the second going Jackson Dart, who wouldn't be a bad pickup, but honestly, at Giants at pick 3, they can't go quarterback. There isn't a quarterback good enough to take here, and they don't need a running back. Tyrone Tracy has looked amazing for them. I don't see a world where they go out of their way to do that, and that's kind of why I'm thinking they either go receiver or corner here. And you look at the corners and the receivers, and you got Travis Hunter, who I honestly think is overrated. I mean, you look at him, he's had 4 interceptions. Look, he had 1 touchdown, but how are you going to be the top corner in the draft and only have 4 interceptions? I mean, he had 3 last year with 5 touchdowns. But, like, in my opinion, a guy who's a lot better is Will Johnson. I mean, yeah, 2 interceptions, 4 interceptions, 3 interceptions. But in my opinion, this dude has looked better in coverage. I mean, he didn't play many games this year. He played 6 games. But in my opinion, I like Will Johnson a lot more. I feel like he's a better corner. I mean, Travis Hunter's stats look a little better, but overall, I really want the Giants to go Will Johnson here, but I don't see a world where they don't take Travis Hunter here. And then you have the Patriots. Patriots, I look at this team and I'm like, I really don't know what they need. I feel like they do need a receiver, but do they go receiver at 4? Do they go receiver, or do they do best player available and go Abdul Carter, who they could use and they probably need? Because, I mean, you look at this list and I'm like, there's a lot of these players that they need. I'm honestly, though, I guess for the Patriots, I go best player available and probably go Abdul Carter, and maybe they would go McMillan here because I do need a receiver. But I think it kind of depends, because honestly, I don't know much about the Patriots. I can't really put much of an opinion on them as a team. But I'm just going to say they go best player available and do Abdul Carter. So, Jags at 5, they need a lot of help. They severely underperformed this year. People thought they were going to be really good. They underperformed really badly. And they need help. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence can still be a good quarterback. He has shown that he can be there. He got injured throughout the season, which gave Mac Jones a chance to step in, who we all know isn't really that good. With the Jags, I mean, they either keep pick 5 or they trade it. Like, if they keep pick 5, I think they might honestly go Will Johnson here, because, I mean, they need that corner help. But I also really think they go Mason Graham. Mason Graham's been an amazing player for Michigan. Michigan had a very rough year this year. As a person who watches Big Ten football, I know Michigan, they had a very off year. Not often you see them play like this. But the team had amazing players. It's just the quarterback for Michigan wasn't that good this year. But I am happy to see Michigan getting Bryce Underwood, who I think is going to be amazing for Michigan at quarterback, who is the number 1 quarterback in the nation coming out of this football season. And I think he'll be an amazing quarterback for Michigan. But back onto the Jaguars, I think they honestly go Mason Graham here. Now, next we have my Las Vegas Raiders. So, at pick 6, I think we need quarterback, running back, receiver, corner. Like, we need everything on the offensive side of the ball. We need everything but receiver, and honestly, we kind of need an O-line as well. So, I mean, honestly here, there's a lot of people who are saying Ashton Jeanty drops down to 12, which I believe Dallas does need a quarterback, but I think the Raiders might honestly go Ashton Jeanty, because if I'm being honest, I think the Raiders in the second round, they pick up Dillon Gabriel and just go with them at quarterback next year behind Aiden O'Connell. I mean, I don't think Gardner Minshew deserves that number 1 quarterback role for the Raiders. I think Aiden O'Connell deserves it, or if we draft Dillon Gabriel, have Dillon Gabriel and Aiden O'Connell fight for that quarterback position, because I feel like the Raiders are going to have to do a lot to get far in our division. I mean, if we go against the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos, who are all really hard teams to beat at this point. I mean, they literally all made the playoffs. I mean, yeah, Chargers were a first-round exit, but I mean, they all made the playoffs. They all had winning records. and then the Raiders had 4 wins. So we really have to go really strong in this draft. We don't know who our head coach is going to be yet. We're really hoping for Ben Johnson from Michigan. I'm not from Michigan. I meant from Detroit, which I guess is from Michigan, but from the Detroit Lions. And we just need to figure out what we're doing as a team. Our owner has kind of screwed us throughout the years. I think we should have given Antonio Pierce one more year, if I'm being honest. We didn't do that, though. So, coming into this, I think the Raiders need to go either McMillan or Jeanty, and personally, I really think the Raiders should go Ashton Jeanty. He's an amazing player. I would do anything to have him. I mean, look at his stats. He is insane. 2,595 rushing yards. He played 14 games. He scored 29 touchdowns. He was also getting the ball in the backfield a little bit. And, I mean, he's just insane. No one thought this dude was going... When we came into the season, we didn't even know who Ashton Jeanty was. We didn't know who he was. We just... The most people knew about him is the fans of Boise State. And as much as I know Ashton Jeanty wants to go to the Cowboys, I think the Raiders should try to get Ashton Jeanty. And if they can't get him because he doesn't want to come here, I say we go McMillan. But I think we definitely try for Ashton Jeanty. We need a running back. We cannot go another year with Zamir White and Madison as our running backs because it has not gotten us far. I mean, McCormick has looked all right, but we really need an actual RB1 on our team if we're going to even fight at the moment because we don't have a quarterback. And the only other way you can actually have an offense go down that field is if you have a running back who's going to be able to get you down that field. Next, we have the Jets. The Jets need a quarterback. I don't think Aaron Rodgers stays there. I don't think Devontae Adams stays there either. I mean, they really need corner help, though, too. And, I mean, if I'm being honest, if I'm the Jets, you have Sauce Gardner. You kind of need another DB. And I think they should honestly go Will Johnson here. And I don't think that is actually a bad pull from me. So, you got the Panthers. They really need some DB help. They really need some defensive line help. And looking at this dude, he's a defensive lineman who they're not going to want. But, like, if they're going to... With the Panthers, it's kind of hard to know who they're going to pick up. They have some teams offering to trade back a little bit. Because, honestly, I could see a pick like the Bears go for them. And, like, they also offer, like, their 24th and I don't know what they do here. Because if I'm looking at this Panthers team, I'm going, well, what do they need? You would assume they're going to hope Bryce Young continues going. They probably need a receiver. But do I think they go McMillan at receiver? Not really. I think they'd probably reach and go Luther from Missouri, which would give the Saints a receiver that they need, and that would be McMillan. Now, you got the Bears. They need a running back. They need center. They need a guard. And if you're going in this, you're like, okay, who can they really go for here? They need a guard. They they need that edge rusher. And honestly, I don't see a world where they don't go edge here and they go Nick from Texas A&M, which leaves the 49ers at 11, probably picking up Will Campbell if he's still there at 11. Now, Cowboys, they come in here, they just got their running back stolen from them. The Raiders pick up Ashton Jeanty. Who do the Cowboys go if they don't get Ashton Jeanty here? Well, they need a running back still, which looking at the running backs, I mean, Hampton wouldn't be a bad pick, or Cam Scatabo. I think both really good running backs. I mean, Cam Scatabo, love it. Hampton also would love it. They kind of need a receiver. They'd kind of be reaching if they went Hampton here. If they need a receiver, I mean, they got Emeka Egbuka right there. I mean, looking at it, they need a player, and I don't see a world where they don't go running back or receiver. I would love to see Hampton in a Cowboys jersey. And as much as I wouldn't love to see Emeka Egbuka, in a Cowboys jersey, I think if he's there at 12, they pick him up. Dolphins, they're going to be very happy. They're going to be very happy if Starks is still here. I mean, he's a good player. He's known for being really good. And I feel like if he's there, they're taking a safety. They need a safety. They're taking him. So then you're looking at the Colts. They need a tight end. They need a edge. They need a defensive back. And there's a lot of good players who would be here at this point. I mean, you go the tight end route. You got Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Mason Taylor, Harold Finn Jr. from Bowling Green, who is one of the best Bowling Green players I've ever seen. I don't watch much college, but he is an amazing player from Bowling Green, with his overall grade being a 96.4. So if I'm the Colts here, I'm thinking, well, we have Anthony Richardson, we have Joe Flacco. We could give him someone to throw to. Our defense, as much as it is a problem, it isn't a huge problem. And if Taylor Warren's there, I say they go tight end and pick up Taylor. I mean, if I'm them, why wouldn't you? And then you got the Falcons. They need a linebacker. Jalen Walker's right there. I think they take him. And then Cardinals, Josh Simmons or Calvin Banks. I mean, Calvin Banks, he's not horrible. He's definitely usable. Josh Simmons, also not horrible. I mean, you look at him, it's kind of just pick your poison. I think, though, if I'm the Cardinals, you go Josh Simmons and give him someone that Marvin Harrison knows, because even though they aren't both, doing the same job, it kind of adds some chemistry there. Now the Bengals, they are going to need a receiver. They can't sign T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, so they're going to need to go receiver, but they also need a tight end. And I would love to see this, and I hope it happens. I hope Colston Loveland goes to the Bengals. I think that would be amazing to see. I think the Bengals need it, and I would love to see it. And then you got the Seahawks. They need an edge. I think they go Williams, coming out of Georgia. Which then we get to the Bucks. I mean, if you haven't seen Jack Sawyer, he is amazing. If you didn't see that game where they went against, I'm trying to remember who they won against. I don't know why I'm spacing out. I know who they won against. But give me 1 second and I will check that real quick. All right, so they won against Texas. So Jack Sawyer, when he went against Texas, he basically won them the game. I mean, he's an amazing player. Jack Sawyer, love the dude as an Ohio State fan. Seeing him on the Bucks would be my favorite thing in the world, but I don't see why the Bucks wouldn't pick up Jack Sawyer right there. And then you look at the Broncos. I mean, they kind of need a tight end. They kind of need a receiver. I mean, you go tight end. I didn't mean to select running back, but if you look at your tight ends, you got Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm, not my favorite guy in the world, honestly. I don't think he gets picked up before Mason Taylor. And if I'm them, you go, well, screw it. And you go Mason Taylor to the Broncos. As much as I would hate to see that, I think that's something that is foreseeable. Which leaves the Steelers. They're probably going to need a receiver, and they're probably going and they do need a corner. So they either go Matthew Golden here, or they go Benjamin Morris. I mean, Benjamin Morris, he's not been great this season for Notre Dame. I mean, he's gotten some decent plays for the year. I mean, he's more known as that corner spot. He's been aligned at the D-line spot a couple times this season. Obviously, not a D-lineman by any means. He's not a very known slot person. He's known for being that corner player. But I think, honestly, I think the Steelers, they trade George Pickens after the year that he's had. Because, I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, you like Pickens, but he has caused a lot of drama for you guys. He is not worth keeping around. And he has caused nothing but trouble for you guys. And that's why I think you guys get rid of him in the offseason and you guys go Matthew Golden from Texas. And then you go with the Chargers and you're like, well, you're the Chargers. You need an edge player. I mean, you got Joey Bosa. Your tight end isn't great. I don't know who the Chargers would pick up here, but I think Gunnar Helm wouldn't be too much of a reach for them. Packers, they need a receiver, they need corner, they need an edge. Honestly, I think I screwed up by not having the Chargers go Stewart here, but if the Chargers want receiver, want tight end, which I honestly, not anything about it, I don't see them doing, I think the Packers would definitely pick up Stewart. Now, Vikings, they need a running back, and this is the perfect spot to pick one up. They need a running back. I don't think they keep Aaron Jones, and that's why I think they go Hampton here. Now, you look at the Texans. It says they need receiver. They don't really. I mean, it depends on if Tank Dell's playing much next season. That's really going to depend on what they really need. And I think the Texans, they more need that line help. And Kenneth Grant at 25, who's ranked 19th in the draft at the moment, would not be a bad pick at 25 by any means. So I think they go Kenneth Grant from Michigan right there. And the Rams, their tight end's Higbee. They kind of need a tight end. But if Calvin Banks is right here at 26, you're going to take Calvin Banks. If you're a Rams fan, you're taking him. Then Washington, they need a receiver. They need corner. So you look at receivers, and then you go your corners. And your edges, I mean, You got a lot of corners here. Your best edge is ranked 30th. Your best receiver is ranked 32nd in the draft. I think they go Benjamin Morris if honestly, if you're going to go best player available out of the players you really need. Which puts the Ravens on the clock. So they need receiver. They don't really need receiver too badly. I think they just go best player available, which would be the tackle from Missouri. Eagles says they need receiver. They don't really need receiver. Guard, edge, and corner. I mean, honestly, James Pierce would be a horrible pick up from them. And then you got the team I hate the most. It's going to be hard for me to know what they're going to pick. I feel like they go Josh Corley Jr., which would be a good pickup for them. And that's why I think they actually go it. And then you got the Bills. They need a receiver really badly. I feel like Josh Allen is basically that team right now. They need a receiver really badly. I think they picked up that receiver in the second, though, and they go Williams here at 31. And then the end off the first round, you got the Lions, and I think they really would just go whoever they think they really need at the moment. I don't think they need corner help. I don't really think they need receiver help. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think of where they really need help because it's really hard to think what this team needs. They've been amazing. I mean, honestly, I guess you just go and I guess they take Landon Jackson. I don't know, but I have them taking Landon Jackson. So with that being said, that's gonna be my draft. I mean, I think we could zoom out. That's my draft board. Definitely not final. I got to do a little bit more research. I'm sure a lot of people can tell that. I don't know where I have a lot of these teams picking up people. But I definitely think this isn't a horrible mock draft, but that's going to be my first round right there. If you guys did like the video, please like and subscribe if you're new. I will definitely be doing a lot more research on these teams to figure out who these teams really need, because there's a couple teams where I'm like, I don't really know who they need here. So I think I'm going to go and do some research, do another mock draft in a few weeks when I get the chance. But I think that's going to be it for me today. If you guys want to comment who you think your team will pick in the first round, go right ahead. Let me know. But I'm going to end the video off here. I hope you guys have an amazing and fantastic rest of your day, and goodbye.